Welcome to the Full Tactical Range by Range Systems. I'm Bo Dobozinski, lead instructor for SEAL Mindset Training, and this is your drill of the week. A lot of times I see people have very differing first shot on target times depending upon the distance of the target. Now this is sort of appropriate and it's sort of not appropriate. Especially for defensive work, we should be fairly consistent for first shot on target, almost irrespective of the distance of the target to us. Now obviously if we're in very, very close, we don't have to have as much concentration on sights and that first shot should come out pretty fast. But if we got to say 30 or 40 feet, we still should be looking at first shot on target in under 2 seconds. And from full concealment, we should be seeing that all day. Now the trick to being able to do that kind of a first shot on target at those kinds of distances from concealment is actually to work on not necessarily all the other stuff in the draw, but really position one of the presentation itself. Position one for us is the last 6 to 8 inches while the firearm is in alignment pressing out to the target. And the gist behind why we call it position one is we work the draw backwards. So we start from what we teach people how to stand and hold the gun, and then we move backwards into the rest of the draw. And so position one is when the gun is about to go and break the shot. Position 5 is where the firearm would come out of the holster. So position one is the critical aspect to being able to get those shots in on time as quickly as we can. When we get ourselves set up, the goal for this drill will be to drive the gun to position one. And once we've driven the gun to position one, really stepped on the gas, now all of a sudden we're gonna add some brake. And the brake is gonna come from the pulling of my support hand. So I get myself all set up, I drive to position one. Once I'm in position one, now that support hand really is gonna start to kick in. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, break the shot, reset, assess, and 360 check. By doing this, we should have a longer period of time that my brain can make micro adjustments utilizing the sights before the shot goes off. To practice this, how we're going to do our drill is we're going to start in closer than I would go for full presentation, but we want to start to work it in a very comfortable way and then start working to things that are uncomfortable. And so we're going to use our 8.5 by 11 target area on a human silhouette, and we're going to start in about 10 feet. And we're going to work that single shot from a full concealment draw using that position one, that pushing and pulling of position one to break the shot. And we want to get that shot in under 2 seconds. Then what we're going to do is we're going to back up 5 feet to 15 feet, do the same thing. And back up again to 20 feet, back up to 25, back up to 30. And you could theoretically keep going back to 40, 50, 60 feet if that's what you want to do. The technique will still hold. And the idea is, how can we keep utilizing that dragging action of the support hand, that last 6 or 8 inches of position one, to give our brain just this much longer to get those sights on target to break my shot effectively. Now we're going to use the shot timer to do this just because it makes it very easy to start to see how we're doing to keep ourselves at a standard that makes sense. And we're going to keep all of our shots in that 8.5 by 11 silhouette, but you could easily translate this to center of face, which is the base of the neck to the hairline as well. So let's get started. Working this kind of a drill is super valuable for us as defenders, but it's also really valuable for law enforcement and military. Generally speaking, when we as defenders are engaged in some kind of defensive action, we're a little bit behind the power curve. We are having to catch up because we weren't the one that initiated the attack, the bad guy was. And by having a draw that is quick and precise and can get our shots on target in the minimal amount of time possible and accurately, really becomes advantageous for us as defenders. For law enforcement, this is exactly the same way. We're seeing ambushes of police officers more often in the last couple of years. Getting out that firearm and being able to get effective rounds on target is really, really critical. And practicing this presentation push-pull action is really going to help us to do that, whether we're in fairly close at that 15-foot range or we're out back further at 30 feet or even more. So practice this drill, take your time, really develop that position one presentation push-pull, and we'll see you in the next drill of the week. Like what you saw? Subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep checking out the training blog for more tips and drills. If you'd like a PDF copy of this training drill, go to SEALMindsetTraining.com and to the PDF download section. There, type in the promo code Drill number 42.